Good morning, everyone. Good morning, class. So, previously we discussed the basic of the Microsoft Excel as well as the basic function na meron tayo doon. So, now, we will continue to discuss the other functions of basic Excel. So, for today's discussion, I will discuss you the different graph na pwede natin gawin kay Microsoft Excel. Okay? Okay. So, first, as you can see here in our Excel, we have different kinds of graph. We have here the bar graph. We have also the line graph, the pie graph, the tree map, the sunburst, or the mostly the hierarchy charts. We have here the histogram and the box and whisker. We have also the Pareto, and we have the scatter diagram. We also have this the combination of those charts. So mamaya, na-discuss din natin siya. Same with Microsoft Excel, we can also use field map here. Okay? So let's start to discuss the bar graph. Okay. So bar graph can be defined as a chart or graphical representation of data, quantities, or numbers using bars or strips. So bar graphs are used to compare and contrast numbers, frequencies, or other measures of distinct categories of data. So hindi lahat ng data natin applicable si bar graph, si pie graph, or si line graph. So it depends kung paano natin i-present yung ating data. So for bar graph, ang gusto lang natin dito is ma-compare yung contrast o yung different frequencies na meron tayong based sa data natin. So, let's have an example. Okay. We have an example here which is we have the customer per batch. So, meron daw isang business and then gusto niya makita what is the difference between the number of customer per branch on a daily basis. So, we have here the data. On the first column, we have the branch, and the second column, we have the number of customer per day. So, for the bar graph, we have the 2D column, 3D column, 2D bar, and 3D bar. For the 2D column, we have the clustered column. So for the clustered column, this one, we use this chart to compare values across a few categories. So gusto lang natin tingnan ano yung pinagkaiba ng data between the different categories. So ginagamit din natin to in the order of categories, not important. Hindi mahalaga sa atin kung magkakasunod ba yung data o yung categories natin. We have also here the stock column, and we have here the 100% stock column. So later on, we will discuss that one. First, we have the clustered column. So for the clustered column, we just have to click insert and then click the clustered column. After we click that one, makakapag-generate siya ng isang box o yung chart, blank chart na tinatawag. So, paano natin makuha yung data? We have to click our mouse, right click, and then we have to select data. Okay? So, once we click the select data, lalabas dito yung chart data range. Ibig sabihin, tinatanong niya, alin yung data na kailangan natin. So, we have to click this space and then select our data starting from the column name up to the end. So, once we select our data, makakapag-generate agad siya ng ating bar graph. So, we just have to select OK. Okay. So, once we select OK, nandito na yung data natin. So, but the important part of our bar graph is the elements na meron. Okay. So, ano the element we have for our bar graph? We have here the axis titles, the chart title, data labels, data table, error bars, the grid lines, and the legend. So, let's first with our chart title. So, for the chart title, syempre dapat dito pa lang sa title, makikita na natin ano yung nire-represent ng ating bar graph. So, based on our data, ang gusto natin makita dito is the number of customer per branch on a daily basis. So, dapat sa chart title pa lang, malalaman na natin ano yung pinapakita ng ating graph. Okay? And then, our next element, we have the axis. So, for the axis, syempre, ito yung the vertical and the horizontal axis natin na meron. So kailangan present lagi yung data dito sa on the left side and on the data dito sa may bottom side. Kasi mas ma-determine natin kung para saan ba yung mga data na meron tayo. For the axis title, so napakahalaga na maglagay tayo ng axis title. So for the horizontal, you just have to click the axis title and then click horizontal. And then you have to edit this text box. So our axis title for this one will be the branch. Then the next axis title is the vertical, which is the number of customer per day. And then, mahalaga rin na yung data na meron tayo dun sa ating graph ay may label. Kasi, mahihirapan tayong identify kung ilan yung data na meron kay Tanawan, kay Malbar, kay Lipa, kapag wala siyang label. For example, for Malbar, around 60 to 80, but yung tamang label at tamang number of customer per day, hindi natin makikita sa unang tingin natin. So we have to add our data label. Depende sa atin kung saan gusto natin, depende sa inyo kung saan nyo gusto lagyan siya ng label. So we have here the center, inside end, inside base, outside end, and data call out. But my suggestion is doon natin siya ilagay sa outside end kasi mas makikita natin siya. Okay? So, click lang natin and then kayo na bahala kung ano yung gusto nyo gawin dito kay data label. So, pwede din just click just click the right click of the mouse and then what will be kung gusto nyo lagyan ng fill or what. So, depende na yun sa inyo. Okay? And then, another chart element will be the data table. So, ito naman, kung gusto nyo na makita rin yung data sa ilalim, ay pwede nating ilagay. But, for this data, loaded na natin siya kasi nilagyan natin siya ng data labels. Okay? And then, for the data errors, if meron tayong makitang error, the standard deviation, the percentage, the standard error, pwede rin natin siyang lagyan. But basically, this graph ay pwede na with this data. So mas na-represent nito yung hinahanap nating information. So makikita natin, we can analyze that based on our graph, the Lipad Santo Tomas is has the highest the number of customers per branch on a daily basis. So if you want to provide a design, depende na yun sa inyo. So we have here different design or gusto mo ipalitan ng kulay. So nakadepende na yun sa atin. But to make it professional, syempre kailangan uniform yung kulay natin. Okay? So for the data elements also, you can add the legend na i-represent niya yung bar na to kung para saan siya. Okay? But for this graph, hindi natin siya kailangan. So kasi isa lang yung data natin hinahanap. But if meron tayong data na different, for example, later, papakita natin. Okay? Okay. For our next bar graph, we have here the stock column or yung compare parts of a whole, show how many parts of a whole change over time. So, sa ganitong data naman, okay, we can use, kung, for example, for the customers per day, meron pa siyang different data na meron. For example, for the branch, we have the day and the afternoon. Gusto natin makita yung difference ng dalawa. Gusto natin makita yung difference ng dalawa, pero in a single bar. Okay. So another one, just click the stock column, right click, select data, and then select natin from the column name up to this one. So later on, mamaya na yung total. Okay. So we have here, okay, the stock column. So for the stock column, makikita nyo, combine yung data ni day and the afternoon, but on the same branch. Same with for the first graph, syempre, yung elements, kailangan malagay pa rin natin. We have here the number of customer per branch daily. Then also, our chart element, number of customer. And we have here our branch. So, in giving data, in providing data labels, so kailangan merong data label si day and then si afternoon. So, what we need to is, pwedeng ma-shortcut, click nyo lang to si data na to, right click and then add data labels. And then this one, also, add data labels. So, makikita nyo, meron ng label for both day and afternoon. But, the difference is, paano natin malalaman na yung blue ay day, yung orange is afternoon. So what we need is to provide legend. For the legend, depende sa inyo kung saan siya gustong ilagay. We have the right, the top, the left, and the bottom. So basically, para sa akin, okay na yung nasa top. So dito, makikita natin yung label na the blue bar is the number of customer per day, per branch, on the day, and the orange one is the number of customer per branch for the afternoon. So, mas nakikita natin siya. For the total, pwede natin siyang isama. We just have to drag yung data, and then, but the difference here, magiging stock column na rin yung 100, which is mali. Kasi lalabas, yung data natin is magdodoble. So, later on, tuturo ko sa inyo paano natin ilalagay si total? Paano natin mapipresent si total? So, yun ay nasa part ng combination. Okay? Okay. Let's move to the 100% stock column. Pag sinabi namin 100% stock column, compare the percentage each value contributes to a total. Show how the percentage that each value contributes changes over time. So, dito naman kay stock column, makikita natin yung contribution ng data based dun sa overall na data per category pa rin. So for example, pwede natin ito na lang din yung gamitin natin. Ang gawin lang natin is change chart type. So column, dun tayo sa 100% stock column. Okay? And then click okay. So kung makikita natin dito, magbabago yung ating horizontal axis. So magiging 100% siya, and then what is the contribution of our afternoon number of customers and the day afternoon. So if we are going to analyze our graph, we can say that mas marami yung customers natin for the afternoon unlike dun kay ating day. So makikita natin almost nasa 40% lang, around 30% yung number of customers natin, day schedule, unlike kay night, around 70%. So, yan yung ginagamit natin for 100% stock. Okay. So, we have here also an example. Ito naman, on a weekly basis. So, pwede rin natin gamitin dito si stock column para makita natin yung total. But, we can also use here the clustered column. So, once we click the clustered column, makikita nyo, we have the per branch na customers natin, but makikita natin yung changes niya on a weekly basis. So, click lang natin ulit to provide the data. Ayan. So, we have here the table that represent the number of customers per branch on a weekly basis. For example, for Lipa, makikita natin na almost nothing changes, almost no changes from week 1 to week 4. For Tanawan, from the week 2, medyo bumaba yung number of customers natin. For Talisay, consistent siya na almost 65, 62, 64, 65. And then for Kalamba, tumaas siya pagdating ng week 4. So, kaya din natin siyang ma-analyze using this graph. So, yan yung different kinds of bar graphs na meron tayo kay Excel. Other graphs naman na meron tayo dito, actually, same lang siya, but the difference is yung itsura niya. So, ito, 3D. Kung gusto niyo lang na medyo mas maganda, but most likely, okay na yung 2D column. So, we have also here the 2D bar. Same lang naman siya ng usage ni 2D column. Ang kinibahan nga lang nito, vertical yung itsura ng ating graph. Okay? For the 3D bar, so, ganun din. So, that is our bar graph.